What's up everybody? So welcome back to another comic book haul video. It's been a very long time since I've done this because I think the last one was like back in April. So the way I'm gonna go about it is it's gonna be spread out across several videos. I might still be wearing the same shirt. I might do another one after this one, and it's gonna be a pretty long one. So I'm gonna try my best to get right to the point. So anyways, welcome to the video and let's get right to it. This is gonna be a very long video. So first thing we have is the variant cover for Batman, Absolute Batman issue 7. This is the variant cover for the book. I'm trying to like strain myself because it's very hard to do a video when you don't have the right equipment. I'm using my iPhone. The next book that we have is Lilith issue 3. For those of you that haven't been reading this, I've been somewhat of a fan. I've been enjoying it. I'm not so much of a fan of the variant covers. I mean, the not safe for work variant covers. It's not because like, you know, I'm that down bad for things. It's just, I thought they were gonna be more of like a, tasteful type of design, and damn, that's really weird to say. That is very weird to say. But the point is, the variant covers for Lilith, the not safe for work versions, don't really appeal to me as much as like an ordinary variant cover would. Like for example, like you saw with the Absolute Batman issue 7. But yeah, I'm sweating here. So the next issue is Absolute Wonder Woman issue 7. This is the regular cover for the book. And again, I've been enjoying everything about the Absolute universe when it comes to DC Comics. The Marvel books, there has been some. Again, this is like a very new comic book haul video, so it's now July 31st, so I'm hoping I can put this video out in the next few days. I've been reading The Thing. It's been pretty good, in my opinion. Pretty good. Giving you short reviews because, like I said, it's a long comic book haul video. The next issue that we have is Absolute Martian Manhunter issue 2. Issue 2. It's been a minute. I had to look at this for a second. It's been a long time since I've done this. Oh my god. And on the next books were books that I definitely needed to have in my collection. I have the Amalgam. I don't know how to pronounce that word, correct me. It is the DC versus Marvel books. These are the crossovers. This is issue 1 of the first, you know, obviously of the first run. I've always been a fan of, as a comic book reader, I've always been a fan of like, you know, what's better, DC or Marvel, but as a comic book reader, you come to realize that it's not about whether one company is better over the other. It's about what characters you enjoy the most and what stories are more appealing to you. But you know, at the end of the day, DC for the win. So the next issue that we have is Marvel vs. DC. This is issue 2 of that specific run. Again, I had to collect these. These are the complete run. So this is issue 3. And again, the title ends up being reversed every now and then. Or for the books, you know, you got DC versus Marvel, Marvel versus DC, Marvel versus DC, and then it goes back to Marvel versus, or DC versus Marvel, which is right here in issue 4 of the book. I love that I'm going straight forward and just giving you guys the book and the book that I'm reading, or books that I've collected for the stuff. And now the next one I cannot show you because it is a not safe for work variant, but it's really not that bad. I've seen worse, and I'm sure a lot of you who have watched anime, because you guys have been watching the weirdest things I've ever seen in my life, I've seen a lot worse than what's on the cover of this thing. Now, I will not post it anywhere, not even in my Discord, but if you want to Google it, you're more than welcome to, but it's really not that crazy. I bought it with the intent of thinking that it was going to be the same cover of issue 3, but a little bit more revealing in a sense, because it's Lilith, and I feel like, you know, the way the writing is and stuff like that. For some reason, I feel like that whole world alone should have been a little bit more, I guess, aggressive in some sense, but the book is still really solid. I recommend it, to be honest. If you want to wait for the trade paperback, that's completely fine. I believe issue 5 comes out actually next week. And yeah, this is issue 3 variant. And now that I am finished with the first stack of comic books, here is now the second stack that I've set aside since, like I told you guys, it's been like since April since I've done this. This is Godzilla vs. Los Angeles. This is the variant cover for the books. And again, if you are part of our community comic book nights on our Discord, you will know that I've been talking about these books every now and then. I also show you guys what kind of books I pick up or what books you guys are currently picking up. And we're also reading quite a few titles. And we've also been trying to have like a very, we're not trying to be like too crazy when it comes to what books we're currently reading or we're trying to read, because I want to make sure that everyone has the proper time, because a lot of you guys work. A lot of you guys work that 9 to 5. I am trying to make this be my 9 to 5, and with your support, it looks possible that I can try to reach something like that. So it'd be cool, but you know, until then, if it's possible, it's possible. If not, I'm trying to make sure that whenever we do our comic book nights, it's very, the books aren't as crazy or aren't as lengthy. And if they are lengthy, like I'm like, you know, read issue this to this, I give us like a 2-3 weeks. You know, to try to read the material. And now the next issue that I strongly recommend, if it's still available in your comic book stores, is Spider-Man vs. Godzilla, or Godzilla vs. Spider-Man. This is the regular cover. I don't think I got the variant for it, but I'm telling you, you should definitely read this book. I think as a Godzilla fan, and also as a Spider-Man fan, you will enjoy what happens in the story. I don't think I'm gonna pick up anything else from the Godzilla series when it comes to, like, you know, Godzilla fighting the Marvel Universe or whatever. But it's crazy how Godzilla has been now in almost every comic book adaptation or a lot of titles. I think recently during Comic-Con, it was announced that it was TMNT with Godzilla, and I'm just kind of there like, give me it. The next issue is actually kind of a sad story because it is Snot Girl issue 20. This is the regular cover. I do have the variant, and the reason why I say that it's sad is because they're no longer printing physical copies of the single issues. They're not going to be selling graphic novels due to the fact that Snot Girl has not been receiving the same kind of attention that it once was. I honestly think it's COVID to blame. The story has not fallen off. It's very, very solid. I love the artwork. I love the story. Everything about it is perfect. But if I could recommend you to read it, I will recommend it here as well. Go pick it up. I think you can find the graphic novels at your comic store if you're lucky to find them. I mean, I've been to mine and sometimes they have it, sometimes they don't. But maybe Barnes & Nobles and other bookstores like that. And now the next issue is the variant cover for Snot Girl issue 20. And again, I'm trying my best to angle this thing here. I'm sorry if the video's ever like, you know, I'm over here and everything and it's not centered. Again, I'm working with an iPhone. I'm gonna be apologizing over this until I finally have the right equipment. So, you know, support where you can. Watch the gameplay videos, you know, all that stuff. And again, thank you so much for still being with me during this very lengthy combo call video. We still have like half the stack left. And now the next issue is the regular cover for Godzilla vs. Los Angeles, which is the Hollywood Hills sign, you know, being torn down with Godzilla in the path. I think this is a very solid cover. I am a sucker for this stuff. You know, it could literally be Kong versus Los Angeles or anything. I'm a big fan of this stuff, man. You have no idea. But the entire run is called Godzilla vs. America. There was also Godzilla vs. Boston. I didn't pick up that one. I decided to pick up, you know, Godzilla vs. LA because I live in LA. And now the next thing for this combo call is something that I'm very, very excited to show you guys because I'm a big fan of DC's Elseworlds before this like modern Elseworlds take. This is when they were trying to get more experimental with their stuff. This is Batman and Dracula Red Rain book. I've been trying to collect all of these things in one because I think it's like 3 books, but I've been trying to collect these as I go. I know there's one book that has like all the stories into one book. But if you didn't know what the story's about, it's basically when Dracula bites Batman and Batman becomes a nightmare, you know, vampire Batman. It's a pretty solid book. I love this. I love this a lot. And now if you're very into like detective-y, noir-like style of comic books, I definitely recommend this one. It's Los Monstruos. And if Burn Alex was actually the one that told me to check this one out. And we're also reading this for our Comic Book Weekly. And to be honest, it's probably one of my favorite books at the moment next to Absolute Martian Manhunter and Absolute Green Lantern. I'm still a fan of, like I said, the Absolute Universe, but I think it's really cool to read things that are outside like the superhero-y type of stuff. And if you didn't know what it is, you need a quick little like, you know, what is this? It's basically a world where all the monsters live in a very like sanctuary place, and it happens to be Los Angeles. And in order as a human to visit these type of like mutants, type of monsters, cities, you need a visa, but you're not allowed to stay there for more than like a few hours. You actually have to get out of there, because there's like no cure and no kind of like, you know, way to really handle what happens to a human in these type of environments. I'm also not going to spoil anything about the story as to what goes on other than the fact that it's very detective-y. And this is also the variant cover of that book. I believe this is the second variant, not the first variant, and I had to get it. I was very interested in this book when Alex recommended it, and, you know, having to go to the store and buy it, and these were the only variants that were available, so I decided to pick it up. Now, a question I get asked is, Jose, how do you handle all the comics that you read? And the answer to that question is I don't. I try to find time to read any kind of material, and I try to make sure like I buy what I'm actually gonna read. I'm not just buying comic books because I just want to buy them, because I don't have that kind of money. and like I say, like I said earlier in the video, like if I could find the support to make this be my 9 to 5, like how some of you have that 9 to 5 or 8 to 5, or for some of you 6 to like God knows how long, I would like to get to that point if it's possible, but not because like I want to buy comic books and make that my hobby. It's like obviously money revolves around this entire world, and we need money to pay bills and food and stuff like that. And I've been going back to the gym, so there's that. And now the next issue that we have is Absolute Green Lantern issue 2. This is the regular cover. I know I have the variant for it. I think it's actually somewhere in this little pile that I have here. Again, Absolute Green Lantern is probably one of the most goated books that is currently out right now. I love everything what they're doing with the story involving the Black Hand, Green Lanterns themselves, and Avensur looking like Majin Buu is probably one of my favorite things ever. And now the next issue that I have is Absolute Superman issue 7. This is the regular cover, right? Yeah. Sometimes, the only reason why I double check is because I've actually been to the store and I bought the variant cover by accident, and I ran back to the store like hours later, and they only had one last first printing of a book, and it is one of the most like horrible feelings ever, especially when you try to just collect your books. So if you ever have a comic store that does pull list and you're reading something new, let them know. Maybe they'll do a pull list for you and you'll get your guaranteed book. It's getting really hot in this room, so I appreciate you guys still being here in the video. I'm like sweating really bad here. This is the next book. This is the variant cover for Absolute Green Lantern issue 2, and it's honestly a really solid cover. Obviously, as I'm showing you guys the picture and like a different format, you'll see what it is. But I do appreciate being able to show you guys what the cover is, because you guys know that I actually own the book. I'm not just here going like, this is what I'm reading. And now the next one I had to buy because I've been playing Marvel Rivals every now and then. It's not my preferred, you know, kind of like hero shooter. I kind of prefer Overwatch a little bit more. But you can't go wrong with one character, and that character is Jeff the Land Shark. I had to get this book. There are no words. Well, there's words, but there's no exact words from Jeff. Jeff doesn't really talk. He's more of like a grunt sound, you know, monster creature thing. I love it. It's a fun little read, and especially if you got kids, man, I think you can buy this book safely. There's really nothing that goes on in here that's like ridiculous or, you know, too, you know, crazy. It's literally just a fun little book. It's a fun little book to see his adventures and daily, you know, just his whereabouts is honestly probably one of the cutest books I've ever picked up for my collection. And now this comic book is not part of my collection. It's actually for a friend, and we found it in the bookstore. This is actually one of the books that we're currently reading in our comic book nights. I'm about issue 50 something in, and he's about like 60 issues and above. This is the first issue of Spawn, and it's for him, aka King Soma. Sometimes you'll see him in the comments, sometimes you'll see him in my live streams, and this book is for him. I had to do it for the comic book haul because I was like, it was a comic book haul, just not my comic book haul, but it was someone's comic book haul that we're going to be mailing out, and it's going to be an amazing gift for them. And they know that we got it for them because I took the picture and I'm like, yo, they have it. They sent the money and we got it, and then here it is. First issue of Spawn, and it's so good. Hey, stay with me, we're almost done. We're almost out of here. So the next book that we have is Spider-Verse versus Venomverse issue 1. Unfortunately, I was not a big fan of this run. And by run I mean like the first issue. It was enough for me to be like, I'm not gonna pick it up. I've already had so many books where I purchased the first issue and ended up being a letdown, like Marvel Rivals issue 1. Unfortunately, it was all over the place. It felt really sloppy, and I was not a fan of the book, unfortunately. And now the second to last book that we have is Absolute Batman issue 8. This is probably one of the weirdest books that I've ever read because or issue, I mean, that I've ever read, because the Freeze is not who I imagined it to be, and I love what they've been doing with the Absolute Universe by rearranging or retelling and being more original for the characters, so that way it feels like a fresh and new run. And now the last book for this combo called, thank God, is Absolute Batman issue 8. This is the variant cover. I had to get it. It's very Nosferatu looking, you know, Freeze. And again, if you have not been reading anything from the Absolute Universe, I strongly recommend it. If you don't care about Batman, there's also Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Green Lantern, and Martian Manhunter. So, you know. And then soon we're going to be getting a Green Arrow mini-series. I think it's like a 6-issue mini-series. And then we're also getting Absolute Evil, issue 1, I think somewhere around later this year. So, that is it for today's combo call video. I'm actually going to take a break. I think I'm going to wait on doing the next stack that I have, which I'm sure you have noticed is sitting right back here. And don't worry, they're bagged and boarded, so you don't have to worry about the books being like bent or anything. It is a bed, but it's not that crazy. But again, everybody, thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully you stayed through the entire thing. If not, I completely understand. We got one more stack to go through. I'm not going to do it today. I'm probably going to do it over the weekend because it's actually getting kind of stuffy in my room, and I'm also hungry and I got to eat, and I got to go live in about 2 hours. So it is July 31st, so I'm hoping I can throw this video somewhere around between August 1st through maybe the 4th. But if I can, for sure the 5th, and then I got another combo call video for you guys on the 6th. Well, I'll record it on the 7th, and then I'll post it probably like on the 9th or 10th. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next video, or I'll catch you on my live streams here on YouTube or on Twitch. So, you know, feel free to check them out, and thank you again for the support. Hit that like button. This is a long video. This is so long. I'm never gonna wait ever again to do a very lengthy combo call video. I did not buy these all in one sitting. Jesus Christ. Oh my God, I almost burped.